Self-Achievement Network. My name's Dominic, and I am here with Kristina Irvine. She was one of our former person behind the passion a year and a half ago.
Something like that, yeah.
Something like that. And she is back in the network. It's kind of like Shark Tank. She's back in the tank for a little update on what she's been doing. How you doing, Kristina?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing great. I'm doing fabulous. I'm sitting here doing my dream, doing my passion, what I love to do here in Chi-Town.
Well, you're really incredible at it, so keep it up. I really like it when your videos pop up in my feed.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. So anyway, everyone, welcome. And we're here to get an update on Kristina's journey, her update on following her real estate dreams. When she first came on as the person behind the passion, it was your passion, except we did not talk about that. This was about you inspiring people and supporting them and going for their dreams. And now all of a sudden it's like, you've been doing this now for 2 years and you have made incredible progress. I've seen you all over my Facebook feed and things like that. And anyway, I want to first of all say thank you for joining me and congratulations.
Thanks for having me, and thank you. I appreciate it. It's been a lot of fun.
I'm all about the F word, right? So, let me just give you guys a little bit of background. So, Kristina and I met. She worked for my wife actually at a company, and then she, in the background, was always like, real estate. I want to do real estate, and she was like a little puppy dog wagging her tail all the time. I want to do real estate, and then I decided to sell my house, and she came to my house. She's like, you have to do this, and then all of a sudden, I sold my house by doing all those things, and it turned out magical. And I was very happy with the price that I got and everything that worked out. So you've been very busy. You had one book that you wrote. You had a second book now that you wrote. You're like President's Club. You're like on top of the world. You're selling, you're at the $1 trillion real estate mark yet?
Not trillion yet, no.
You have competition with the...
We're headed there. We're headed there.
You have competition with our national debt. $1 trillion.
That's the goal. When I can beat the national debt in real estate dollars sold, then I'll know I've done something cool.
That's right. So give us a little background, the people that haven't seen you for a while. Who are you? What are you doing? And then we'll get into the updates and stuff like that.
Oh my goodness. So who am I? Well, my name's Kristina Irvine, as you said. I am a realtor and team leader with John Green Realtor in Naperville. We do have a couple of offices, and actually my team covers a very, very broad area. We cover everything from the Indiana border all the way. I mean, I've gone even farther than Schaumburg. So we cover a really broad area, and we actually really pride ourselves on that. I think a lot of realtors are very specific to a certain area, and I think they rely on having all the data that they need to do their job stored in their head, where we kind of realize very, very quickly that we can help more people by letting the data be stored in the computer and knowing we have access to the answers that we need and being able to prepare on a person-by-person basis, and just being able to serve a broader range. And then obviously I came from 10 years of sales management background, and so it's been really, really helpful in creating my own success, and then again in growing and coaching a team now too. So it's been a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm. Wow. So how many people are on your team?
Oh my goodness. So currently I have a part-time ISA, we call her a client acquisition specialist. She calls to help develop new listings. Inventory is really low. Anybody who knows anything about the real estate market right now, it's pretty, inventory is just really low. That's the struggle we're facing. And so it's learning new ways to accommodate. So she'll call and look for off-market homes for our buyers, which kind of gives us a competitive edge because there aren't a lot of people who have the resources to do that. She also calls around all of our new listings to look for buyers for those listings, and she'll call looking just for new listing opportunities also for us. And then I have a full-time assistant, and then I currently have 4, including myself. There's 4 of us licensed agents on the team. I have one who's just about done with pre-license, and my previous assistant actually told me, you guys are having way too much fun. I don't want to be an assistant. So she's working part-time right now, helping prepare our new assistant to take over her role. But she actually starts pre-license today. So there's actually about to be 6 licensed agents within a month or two on my team, which happened way faster than I imagined. But it's one of those things, and I think I said this last year or a couple of years ago, whenever it was. I feel like when you're where you're supposed to be and you're using it to serve people, the world is really, really kind to you. And I never fathomed that would happen that fast. Like, I was looking for 1 agent in November and I'm now at 6. And I thought he wouldn't start until March. And so it's just crazy, really crazy.
Wow. So you started as a lowly little real estate agent, and within a year, I'm just joking about the lowly.
No, I got it.
But so you started right at where everybody starts, right? And then, not even magically. I mean, it's the way that you go about doing it. You guys, I mean, I'm telling you, I have personal experience with this woman. She knows her stuff. And I think that what you do is very personalized. I mean, you came to my house and you helped me sell my house. Although I sold it for sale by owner, but that didn't really matter. I mean, where she was coming from was like, she just wants to help people. This is the thing that I love about you. And I think that that's part of the secret to your success.
I think that's true. I think people know when you really care or when you're there for a commission check. And I think it shines through. And I think it's always a numbers game. If you go out there and I literally have this conversation with my team. We have our team meetings on Tuesdays. So we just finished a team meeting a little bit ago. But when you're really truly there to serve and you're looking for solutions and you're encouraging people rather than just giving them the bad news, and you're, it's that little bit of above and beyond. And it doesn't really take any extra time or effort or energy to just love people and truly love them more than we love the commission check. If a transaction's about to fall apart and it's in the client's best interest, then we let it fall apart and we're okay with that, because we'll just go find them a new home. And we know that we treated them in a way that they're going to continue to use us. And I kind of had that mindset even when I was broke and really, really, really struggling, borderline quitting, because I was so afraid financially. And it's really served me well. And I think it's serving my team really well, because they're able to see it in action and then have that confidence that they're able to make those choices and not have that, we call it commission breath, even when maybe they don't know where their next dollar. Yeah. Commission breath. It's when you show up to show a house or to whatever it is you're doing with a client, but when they feel like that commission is more important than their needs. And if you can keep that out of the equation in anything you do, people feel that.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely, they do. And so, okay, so tell us a little bit about the journey. So when you first started, you're an agent. You had to go find clients that were either in the market to sell or in the market to buy, right?
Yeah. Well, in the beginning, there's so much training, and I chose a brokerage that did so much training on purpose, because I knew that it would impact the experience and the confidence I was able to have in serving clients when I was out with them. And so quite literally the first couple of months, you're probably doing close to 40 hours a week of training. It was a lot. And then, just building your database and, doing all those kind of have to do things. So trying to find time around that to take whatever rental lead or whatever you can. I would say the difference for me was I was lucky prior to just falling in love with John Green and taking this route. I was going to be joining somebody's team. And he was a really great guy. He still is. We're still friends. But I knew that being on a team was not going to serve both of us long term, because I knew that eventually I wanted my own. And it didn't seem fair to go have him train me, teach me everything that he knew, to know that a year or two from then I probably wouldn't be on his team anymore. It didn't seem, and I have that conversation with all my team members too, when they're coming on, if you see yourself having your own team, then it isn't mutually beneficial for you to join this team. However, I will still help you. I will just help you in a different way. But this spot on this team is for, somebody who really is going to benefit from what the team has to offer long term. But anyway, so the point of the story is we essentially decided that it wasn't mutually beneficial. And I ended up coming here because for some reason, this is just where my heart was really pulled. And I picked it for the training and the people. And I can't be more grateful, quite literally, that I did. It's made the biggest difference. And there's some of the things, which I'm sure we'll talk about later, that I've been able to do to grow my business, are things that were only available to me because I paired up with people who were like me, who really enjoyed the creative aspect of what we do. I was able to find things that I really love to do my entire life and turn them into ways to network and turn them into ways to grow my business. And that's been really beneficial. But anyway, I think I still got sidetracked. I do that a lot. He had told me from the beginning, start making social media videos right away. And so I did. Like when I ordered my books and they came in, it was a big announcement, and then it was a big deal, and people started watching my journey, and it was so fun and kind of strange because about a year later, I would go to like a bar for karaoke or something, and somebody comes flying out the door drunk, and they would be like, I know you sell houses. And they only knew me from Facebook. And so it was kind of like, it really, like, it certainly helped with recognition. But I think the benefit of it was, or where I'm going with it is, I started training, and within a month or two of starting training, I had 5 transactions under contract. Now, the average realtor does 6 transactions in an entire year. Not
Wow.
average new realtor, like average realtor, like total capacity, like 6 transactions a year. And I had 5 under contract really, really fast. And one of those was an almost $700,000 listing. And all of that came from the recognition of people watching my journey in those videos, knowing I was new, knowing that I think that, one of the things I've mentioned to our sales manager here is the cool thing about doing social media videos is when I go interview to list someone's home, they already know they like me. Like they don't even ask that many questions because they knew before I got there, because they've seen me in video, who I am and that they trust me. And so it was really helpful. Anyway, so the point is, being a new agent, not even understanding what I did to create those, to create that kind of result really, really fast. I didn't know what to keep doing either. And so I went through this period from like all of those closed out in like May of my first year, which was 2019. And then all the way through September, September, I only wrote 1 other transaction. And I'm going, oh crap, like what do I do? Like I'm running out of money. It was just really trying to figure things out. And so it was pretty scary. And I remember one day I actually called Brett Penniger. And, I was like, what do I do? Like, here's where I'm at. I'm thinking about getting a full-time job. I know if I get a full-time job, I'm not going to last in real estate, but I can't, no matter how much of a dream this is, number one, I'm working so hard that I'm not having fun. And that doesn't, like, it doesn't matter if it's a dream. I don't want to do that long-term. That just isn't what I see for myself. Like, I like to do something that makes me happy and be able to take that happiness out to other people. And so, he kind of had a talk with me, and I'm like, okay, fine. So I'm going to give myself 90 days. He pointed out to me, he's like, if you do that, the kind of job that will pay you the amount of money that you need to make for it to be worth it will also be so demanding that you won't have any time left for real estate. And I'm like, okay, got it. Understand. Well, I still need money. So I was like, fine, 90 days. That's it. And I was kind of snotty about it. And I called our director of training here, who is now like quite literally one of my best friends. And I told her that exactly. I was like, because I work at a brokerage that only allows full-time agents. We don't allow, you're not allowed to work full-time. And I told her, I'm like, I've got 90 days, and I have to go get a full-time job. Let's figure this out. And she was like, okay, fine. So 90 days, do exactly what I say. Yes, ma'am. And so there were only a couple small tweaks that really changed things. And there was a lot of stuff I was doing that maybe wasn't creating results, and I was spending a lot of time doing it. And those couple of small tweaks are what changed everything. And so going into October, I wrote 1.7 million. That was my first over $1 million month, so it was like just a couple small tweaks and some focus, but it also took to be able to get through that and pay my car payment and keep gas in my car. And I ended up driving Uber, and I was driving Uber, I kid you not, from 5 a.m., 4 or 5, depending on how early I could pee myself out of the bed, from 4 or 5 a.m. to 10 or 11 a.m. And it was all about, like, if I didn't want to go to work, or I had a closing or something from real estate that was going to work, then I needed to be able to do that without letting somebody else down. That was really important to me. And driving Uber gave me the ability to do that. And so I drove Uber quite literally like 35 hours a week and spent every other moment of my day on real estate. And it worked. It worked really well. And then since then, I don't think, if I've missed $1 million, it's not been by much, with the exception of last April, which I think we were all really scared. Nobody knew what was going to happen.
Right. Big scare.
But yeah, it's been crazy, and it's been humbling, and it's been hard work and tweaking things. And usually the things that make the biggest difference are the smallest things that you overlook and you don't even realize you're not doing.
Interesting. So can you give me an example?
Yeah, so we did this accountability training, and accountability isn't really a problem for me. I'm really like, when I want something, I'm really good at working hard. But there were little tidbits that they gave us each and every week. And we did this thing called pie time. And I can't recite what they mean, but it basically broke your time down into 3 different categories. One of those categories was things that directly created a transaction. So showings, writing a contract, like attending an inspection, things that very directly create income. And then the other end of the spectrum was kind of things that an admin can do. Like now they're things that my assistant now does.
Mm-hmm.
And so things like sending out mass emails, or managing my database, or some of my social media stuff. Like there's a lot that gets done by her now. And so there was that category. And then there's this middle category that's kind of like, you need to do these things to create the time that you get FaceTime with clients. And so she told me to log my time, which was so incredibly annoying to me, because I just don't, I don't
You're
know
like
what, I
me.
don't know if I'm just too much of a free spirit or what, but I get
It's
so
tedious.
frustrated when people tell me to log something. I just don't want to do it.
Right.
But I
Like,
did. And
like a
I didn't
calendar.
do it perfectly at all, which is the funny thing with me. I tend to be very black and white. Like I'm either going to do it perfect or I'm not going to do it. And I just kind of had to suck it up and do the best I could and learn a little bit of a gray area. But even in my failure of not logging things very well, what I did see is all the things that I was doing were in the other 2 categories, and I was not getting enough face time with clients. I was picking and choosing. Did I think the drive was worth it because I didn't have the money to waste on gas if they weren't serious about the house? And I just wasn't getting enough face time. And so that was the big thing I changed. I just started taking every opportunity I had to have FaceTime with them, even if I didn't think they were going to buy the house. And sometimes I was right, and sometimes they surprised me, but either way, it changed my business. And then learning how to manage a hot and warm list differently than I ever had in anything else I've ever done before. Learning how to really go through and search for a specific kind of property for each person and send them the best viable option really made a huge difference. Nothing else changed as far as prospecting, or all the other work I was doing was identical. It was just being able to serve them differently and better and create that more FaceTime. So it was those 2 things. And every time I talk to a new agent, that's exactly what I'm telling them is, do these 2 things. Don't do what I did, because that was messy and hard and I almost
Well,
gave
yeah.
up.
Yeah, it's a learning process, a learning curve for sure. But yeah, I mean, time management is huge, and when you know what are the key things to do that are going to maximize your results, and I think that that's normal for a lot of people, that they don't know how to do that. They don't sit down and spend a little bit of time like, okay, what do I need to do to maximize it? I mean, I certainly go through that myself. I'm pretty efficient. However, there are days where it's kind of like I'm just like, oh, what the hell am I doing here? This is just, I should not be doing this. So like I've got my son is coming today, and we're going to be talking about him creating graphics for me. So that'll take off my plate, and because I spend way too much time doing that, posting, what have you, like you said. But that's great that you did that. So now your numbers, in terms of I mean, I don't even know how to talk about it. I mean, you're measuring your success. That's one of those words, because it's success depends on the person, right? But
Yeah.
you set your own targets, and then you do what's necessary to reach those targets. Is that how it works?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
It's a lot of fun.
So what did you said you were in sales for 10 years. What did you sell before? I don't remember you telling me that.
So credit card processing. That's actually,
Oh,
so I always wanted to sell real estate. Like from the time I was like 15 years old, I had a crush on this guy that was selling it with his dad, and it looked like they were really having fun. And I've always had this like really entrepreneurial spirit. Like I would make bracelets out of yarn as a kid and sell them outside my house. I almost said on the corner. That sounds weird. But I would sell them outside my house. And like, it's just always been something I would do, is like have this little business to like try to earn my own money. I'm just from the time I was really small. In fact, I asked my mom if I could get a job for the first time I was 3 years old. Anyway, so my family though is not like that. They're not very entrepreneurial. They're not they're not risk takers at all, and they were very much about doing what was safe and what they thought would give me a good pension and like all of those things. And so they talked me out of it essentially. And the fear was that it was straight commission. Like, you don't make money if you don't sell, which is true. But when you understand how sales works, that's not scary. But yeah, so it was just that there was too much risk, and I really needed to get out and support myself very young anyway. So I listened to what they said. I went to school for accounting, and I was waiting tables through college, and I got into a car wreck that quite literally changed my entire life. And when that happened, I couldn't wait tables anymore, and I couldn't even go to school. I was so sick from like migraines, I couldn't even be in a lit room without throwing up. Like, it was so bad.
Yeah.
And it's taken a long time. In fact, working with your wife and having access to free chiropractic care is something that really, really helped a lot in regaining my life back. But in fact, I really struggled heavily up until that point. And I'd say I still struggle now, but it's actually a lot better now than it's ever been post working there. But so anyway, yeah, so I needed a job, and I didn't know what I could do because waiting tables is the only thing I knew how to do. I couldn't finish my degree, and I'd fully intended on going back when I got better, but I didn't really get better. And I had to take this job opportunity that was an outside sales position, and I knew nothing about sales. I did retail sales a little bit before that, but not anything like outside sales, not even remotely close. And so at the time, I'll be honest with you, I wasn't 100% sure that it wasn't a scam, but I had to take the risk because I had no other way to support myself. Yeah. It was really like they wanted me to put my social security number in. It was an online application. They interviewed me over the phone. You never met anybody. And it was just a really weird scenario, but I did it because I had to trust something at that point in time, and I did. And so within about 3 months, I had done so well, so fast that I wasn't a good salesperson at all. I was just really hard worker, and I didn't let anything I would leave crying sometimes because I'd get yelled at by these people because I don't know if you know anything about credit card processing. It is probably one of the most brutally competitive industries there is. They certainly don't want to talk to you, and they've been ripped off by probably 3 other people who came in there and looked as nice as you. And so it's just a really tough industry. But I didn't have a choice. It was on my table. It worked with my doctor's appointments, and so I did it. And then within about 3 months, they flew me to Dallas, interviewed me for a sales management position to run a team of people just like me who I would never meet, right? Which has been probably one of the biggest gifts in the world because it becomes the sixth sense. I had to figure out, these people would come from like me. They would no sales experience. They waited tables or they worked at McDonald's. They certainly didn't know what they were doing. They were just as scared as I was. They were, they didn't know if I was a scam artist. They didn't know anything. And it really was a legitimate company. But the setup of it was so unusual. And so I would have to, of course, figure out that they smelled good, figure out what they dressed like, figure out if they were really going to these things they were going to, and try to keep them motivated to look for more, all while never having met them in person. Mm-hmm. And it becomes this really, I don't know how else to describe it. It's just the sixth sense for people. You learn to hear what people aren't saying because I had to, because you took away one of my most valuable senses in that scenario, and I had to coach people without being able to see them. And so it just forced you to be able to read into things a little bit differently. And it's been really valuable. Anyway, so the point of the story is, having done that, I ended up hating that company. They weren't, I can't say they were unethical. Like they weren't doing anything illegal. They just weren't doing things up to my ethical standards. And it didn't feel good to me at the end of the day. And so I moved back from Dallas and I swore off the industry. I went to go sell like radio airtime or something. And I was doing fine at it, but there was really it wasn't going to keep me interested for long. Yeah. And I got this call from this recruiter who was like, basically that he's like, everything you're telling me you don't like about the industry is why you need to go meet these people, go. And I went there. And that was the first time anybody actually took time to teach me sales. Yeah. And so I learned a boatload there. And then obviously with my time working with your wife, I learned a whole lot, which was a lot of fun. It was a less aggressive management position there, but there was still some management there. And then I came here.
Mm-hmm. Amazing. Where do you see yourself in a couple of years? I mean, what's your little secret game?
Well,
you can't say that. That's okay. But just wondering.
No, I don't really have secrets. I'm a pretty open book. I don't know that there's as much clarity as I'd like to have. So I know that I really want to build, I want to keep doing what I'm doing. I don't think I would like to work at the pace that I work at right now for more than 5 years. I think I'd like to be able to slow down a little bit for sure. Maybe kids are in my future still. I'm getting to an age where it's like kind of like if it's not soon, it's probably not at all. And so that'd be kind of cool. I certainly know that I'd like to, what?
You could rent them.
I could rent kids. I mean, that's a possibility. I do have some really cute nephews and I borrow them a lot. So,
Right.
yeah, it's honestly, it's a tough balance for me. Sometimes I'm like, I really wish I had a baby. And other times I'm like, real estate's my baby. Cause I really obsessively love what I do. But I know that I want to continue to grow my team and continue to nurture these brand new agents. Like my very first agent who started with me in November is already producing. He's had 2 months that he's produced over $1 million already.
Wow.
And so, I mean, that's a really big deal. And it's really exciting and rewarding to be able to teach somebody that and help them avoid the hurdles that I had to jump and be the support that keeps them there.
And as humble as you are, that's a direct reflection of the way that you do your thing.
Thank you. I appreciate that a lot.
Yeah.
And I hope so. Like it's really cool to feel like I'm making an impact. Like having my team, that's kind of been the benefit of it, is I get to impact them directly, but more importantly, the team as a whole gets to impact, or like our sphere of influence has grown so big. There's now 6 people being coached by me out there impacting the number of people each that I could impact alone. And so it's super fun. It's super fun. We just made these team intro videos and I'm super excited to see the way the communities reply to them. But anyway, I really would like to build a real estate coaching platform. Like I feel like all my sales experience up until now has really led me to where I'm at now. And of course the resources I get here. But I'm currently writing another book. And I love writing, and it's really cool that real estate gives me a way to do it that serves both purposes. But so I'm currently, now that I'm building this team, I'm documenting, because I feel like there isn't, if it exists, I haven't seen it, or I haven't found it in a way that was done the way I'm doing it, or is relatable enough for me. But so as our VP of sales here told me, he's like, if you're going to do this, document it. You like to write, so write. Okay, fine. Yes, sir. I'll do it. So I've been documenting like all the things. Every time I catch myself having a training conversation with one of them, I document it into a script, sometimes with help, sometimes on my own. And so as I do that, I've created this outline that I'm filling in gaps and sometimes adding new things. And so I've almost completely created the buyer's agent training manual for the Irvine group at John Green Realtor. And then the listings, since right now I'm the only one doing listings on the team, I'm not as worried about that, but I'm in the process of creating an assistant training manual, because that was like, when I needed an assistant, nobody could teach me how to hire an assistant, how to pick the right assistant, how to train an assistant. How many things could I have written or documented or had ready for her that didn't take time away from me being out with my clients to teach her what she needs to do? And so we're creating like all of that right now for the assistant. And then we're going to create the listing agent one. And then we're also creating an overall team leader manual. So it's like, here's these 3 tools for each one of these 3 positions on the team. And then here is essentially the rule book for how you use these 3 things to grow and form this team and avoid the hurdles, And so it'd be really cool at some point to release that out into the public, and then offer more. So like, I would still have my team. I would still sell real estate because I love it. I don't plan on stopping. I don't know that I plan on doing it at the capacity that I'm doing right now. I mean, so my team, because it's so new and so young, has only closed a couple of transactions. And currently I have 85 closed transactions in 2 years. Now, remember, the average realtor does 6 a year. So you can imagine what it's taking for me to produce that,
That's incredible.
But yeah, so thank you. We're taking, some of the foot off the gas from me doing those and teaching them to do them instead and coaching them to do that. And then I'm focusing more on listings, even though I'm doing buyers, especially like my personal referrals, stuff like that. It's not that I don't work with buyers. And I think it's valuable too, that I'm still out there working with them, because it helps me see what they're facing so that I can then better coach. And that's the same thing for when hopefully someday I get to help people coach people to grow a team or open a brokerage or whatever they want. And I'm still in it, my hands are still in the dirt. So I can speak from a place of, this is what's happening now, and this is how my team is dealing with it, and these are the results that we're creating.
What a great goal. I mean, and you're in the midst of it. You're creating it as you're doing it. So you're like, yeah, that is really cool. When do you have karaoke? I mean, come on.
I don't go as much as I wish I did sometimes, but like, so people ask me, what do you do for work? And I'm like, oh, real estate, and then they ask me, what do you do for fun? And I'm like, real estate. Like that should really just kind of how it works for me. So I don't know. Sometimes I don't go for a couple of weeks and sometimes I get to go once or twice. And I think it just depends. I feel like sometimes you're the most inspired when you take your foot off the gas. That's when I karaoke.
Yeah. I used to tell people, because I love to play tennis. So
Yeah.
people would ask me, what do I do for a living? I say, well, I play tennis. I don't get paid, but that's what I do for a living. Everything revolves around that. And then I
That's
have a
amazing.
job, and then I have,
Yeah.
that's my thing, So, well, that's great. Well, so what are some of your favorite songs that you can karaoke?
I'm one of those people who sings like the same 3 songs, and I'm trying to break that habit. But I really love to sing Girl Crush because I'm really good at it. Like last January, yeah, I think it was last January, I had started a band. Or I didn't start, but I joined a band. We would practice. Actually, I probably shouldn't say this since this is going to be on social media, but I'm going to anyway. We didn't have anywhere to practice, so we would actually be in the office here at the brokerage on Monday nights. And I'd bring the dog because he was alone all day, and it just made sense to bring the dog. And so we would practice downstairs, and there were a few songs that we practiced that I got really, really good at. And of course, I like to sing those ones the most. So Girl Crush is one of them. Lady Gaga, You and I, I'm really good at. I don't know. I have to think. I mean, I'll sing other stuff too, but it just feels good to sing the ones that you're really good at.
Absolutely. I've only done karaoke once.
Really?
And I was so nervous that I was like, yeah, I avoided it for a long time. And then when I went and did it, I was like, they couldn't get me off the stage. I was, I was like,
that is so funny.
Get this guy
So that's
off.
what we'll have to do when me and Diane find time to catch up. We'll have to drag the both of you out to karaoke with me.
I would, hey, I'm ready. Let's do it. Okay, that's so cool. That's cool.
What are you going to sing?
I don't know. Probably something that I know really well.
That's funny. I mean, it's funny. It sounds cheesy, but it works. Like, of course, you get this like 3 minutes to pretend you're a real rock star. Of course, you want to be impressive. So you pick something you're good at.
Definitely would have to be a 70s song because I'm immersed in 70s and, early 80s rock. That's my genre. Oh, that's great. Okay, so when you go out to do your karaoke, what's your favorite drink?
Yeah, so believe it or not, I don't really go to drink. I mean, I do sometimes. Sometimes I don't drink at all. It just depends on who I'm there with. I feel guilty not buying anything. So I figure that part out and make it make sense and feel ethical to me. But I probably drink White Claw. Or if I'm really tired, if I've had a long real estate day, don't tell my doctor, I'll drink like a Red Bull vodka. Mm-hmm. Something like that.
Red Bull vodka. Wow.
Yeah.
Like
yeah, but like if I'm tired, like trying to go to bed, and I'm like, no, I really just have to go to karaoke. My soul needs it. I'm like, Red Bull it is. Let's go.
Oh, that's great. You're wonderful. I'm so happy that you joined me and sharing all your little secrets and stuff that you've been doing. And wow, congratulations.
Thank you. I really appreciate it. It's been fun to watch your journey too.
It's been a journey. It's been, it's always like, and I don't think that's ever going to end. It's just the way that it is. It's life.
Yeah. I mean, if it wasn't though, then you would get bored.
I think so.
You wouldn't love it anymore. You wouldn't do it anymore.
I agree. Absolutely. Well, okay, but I'll let you go back to your love, what you love to do. And again, thank you so much for coming back, and I appreciate it. And I hope everybody, if you have any questions for Christine, if you're in sales, whatever, you want to get into sales, you want to get into real estate, right there. If you're expanding your team, I don't know. I'm just making stuff up right now. So.
No, I'm happy to help any way that I can.
Awesome. Yeah, there's a lot of people that see this all, you sell real estate in Indiana and Illinois, or just from the border?
So we're
right.
only licensed in Illinois, but I do work with a company called Leading Real Estate Companies of the World. And they actually will pair you with somebody who is trained just like me, and they have a personality profile on me. So they literally they're like, oh, so if you like Kristina, you're going to like this person. They're really, really diligent in the way that they do it, and everybody who's used it's been really happy. So if you want somebody like me, even if it's in a place that I'm not licensed in, I can get you that too.
That's awesome. The way I think about you, it's like I think about you got this connected to this, and that's why I think that you are so successful at what you're doing. Keep this brain connected to the heart, and things are just magical. They work. So thank you for being that kind of a human.
Well, thank you. I agree. And it takes one to know one. So thank you for everything you do.
Absolutely. All right. We'll see you next time. We'll give it a few months and we'll see another update. And good luck with you have your 2 books and now you're writing another one.
Yeah, I'm writing one that, I mean, I'm not
stuff.
sure how it's going to play out yet, but yeah, it'll be 1 or 4, or I don't really know. It might be a 4-book series.
If somebody wanted to see the book, where do they go?
For
Is it
the
on
newest one?
Yeah.
Are you talking the newest book?
Yeah.
The one I'm writing now isn't available yet.
Right. But you said you have 2, you showed
Oh
me you
yeah,
have
so
2 books.
I have my coloring book. It's a story coloring book about buying a home. It's actually my nephew's story when they bought their home. It's all the cute stuff. Kids say really cute things. And so it's all the cute stuff he said. That one's available on Amazon. The other one, the Savvy Seller's Guide to Netting Top Dollar on Your Home, is actually not available to purchase, but it is available as a free ebook download. If you go to my Facebook page, which is the Irvine Group, facebook.com/the Irvine Group, you can find the post there. It's actually the video you posted earlier. So there's a link underneath or you can go straight to the website. It's www.savvysellersguide.com. And you can download the free ebook there. Or when I meet with new sellers, I actually have it in print now. So that's super exciting. I can bring it to them.
Cool. That's cool. Well, make sure that if you don't see the link in there, either send it to me or, put it in there and make sure that it's, available so people can see it.
Yeah, for sure. Will do. I'll send it to you in a Facebook message as soon as we're done.
Perfect. Okay.
Cool.
Be well. Have a